You can do more than you think you can. And I hope you'll be inspired today by my conversation with Bethany McVay. She was a stay-at-home mom turned entrepreneur twice over and a fellow Burn Bootcamp franchise owner. My guest today on the next Simple Step podcast. Bethany, so I believe having an entrepreneurial mindset is the ultimate cheat code to fitness. It just makes everything a lot simpler to get fit, maintain your fitness. What do you think?
I think so. It makes you a self-starter, which is something you have to do in fitness. You can have someone else hold you accountable, but at some point you have to have that mind shift on your own.
Absolutely. As an entrepreneur, you're 100% responsible for creating something of value that other people will pay for. There's no passing the buck. It stops with you. And the same is true of your fitness. We both own Burn boot camps. What's your reason for opening a Burn? Why did you decide to become a franchise partner?
I'm a military spouse. My husband is a pilot in the Air Force, and we moved around a lot. And in 2019, we moved to Las Vegas, and a bunch of other military spouses were members at Burn Boot Camp Las Vegas. I had two very small kids at the time, and I was really battling and coming out of postpartum depression. And I knew I had kind of a 6-7 year break from my career, from us moving overseas and moving as frequently as we did. But I knew, because of how having children had impacted my life so much, when I got back into my career field, that I wanted to do something that would help women, after they had kids, that would help women, whether it be raising awareness for postpartum, or I didn't know what it looked like yet. But I was working out one day, I was on the floating floor, and I looked around and I said, this is it. I get 45 minutes to myself. I can look at the woman to the left and the right of me, and I know they understand how I feel. And I know they're not judging me, that they understand where my mental capacity is right now. And I went home and I told my husband, I said, I think I want to open a Burn. And he said, okay. And I just felt like this was the door open to helping women in the way that they really need it.
Our story is not that different from yours. My wife and I, when we moved to Tennessee, and we had moved all around the country, and every time she had to find her friend group, and usually a mom's group and a gym. And so she found Burn Boot Camp 7 years ago when we moved to Tennessee, and it was transformational. And we thought, how do we get in on that? Want to own a business that we really can fully believe in, and Burn was it. A lot of people become gym owners because they were first trainers and then they decided they wanted to own their own business. Do you train as well?
So my core reason for doing this, it's the mental aspect of it. It's the mental health awareness that Burn offers that a lot of other gyms don't. I really believe the founders, the clients saw a void that the fitness industry does not cater to women. And this was a door to be able to do that. And part of women's fitness is their overall mental well-being. And so taking my own mental well-being into consideration, I felt that I couldn't truly balance being the operator and also holding the responsibility of being the fitness trainer as well. I felt that the two needed division in order to be successful, siloed but cohesive at the same time. So I ultimately decided to build a team that could help me be the face of that, where I could empower them from the other end without us gapping anywhere. I just felt like the training product would suffer or the operational product would suffer. There's only so much Bethany pie, and I have to be very careful of where I slice it.
There's such wisdom there. My business coach, Dan Sullivan, always says, find your who's, who, not how. You don't have to do it all yourself. You can't do it all. And you've really tapped into that to build the best possible Burn and reach as many people as possible. You need great who's around you. And not only do most gyms cater to men, but there's a lot of big box gyms that are discount products and $20-$30 a month. And that's not the case for Burn. It's a premium product. Sometimes people struggle with that. In particular, women are like, can I really afford to spend that much on myself? And yet your gym in the first 2 years, you exceeded 420 total members. That's incredible growth. What do you attribute that to?
I really do attribute to the culture. I'll back up a little bit as well of like my why and my history. I started ironically during COVID.
Hmm.
doing graphic design. I'm self-taught. That is not my education. I actually went to school to do campaign management and the political sector. So
Hmm.
nowhere near anything I would do. And I started by chance doing graphic design and custom apparel for military units. And
Hmm.
I was working during my kids' nap time in my spare bedroom. When it was successful, it was like a light bulb of you don't have to do what you went to school to do. And I really found motivation in that. That's what led me to realize I can do more and I should do more. So then going into Burn, my personal mission is to help other women find that exact thing. We don't have to be restricted. Our life is going to look different because we have kids or because we move around or because whatever is impacting that. But it's how we react to that and how we can use that to take our next step. And so my ultimate goal is to empower women to realize they have that choice and they have that ability. Whether it's the stay-at-home mom who does become my trainer, who never thought that she would work outside of her home. And here she is loving what she's doing, to then allowing my employees to empower my members with that same feeling. One of my favorite testimonials is we have this member that says, I never thought I'd be a gym girl, and I'm a gym girl. Cannot get through my day without coming to Burn in the morning. And again, that was something that her eyes didn't know she even could do or wanted to do sometimes. And so I think just developing that culture and really keeping that at the forefront of our why, we've stayed true to that. And then also really utilizing our strengths in the sense of, I'm not sure that I knew I was strong in marketing. And now I realize that I am. So I'm using that. I have a trainer that I see that her interpersonal skills. So she's able to reach out to people. We're not putting ourselves into a cookie cutter mold of what someone told us opening a gym should look like. I have 25 employees. Every single one of them was a stay-at-home mom before starting to work for me. They all are raising their children and coming to work and balancing that. And it honestly took me a little bit of a buffer and a little bit of self-growth to say, I have this job description and I need them to fit this job description to know my ultimate mission is to empower them to do something they otherwise wouldn't be able to do. And so how can we make the gym successful while also making them successful and respecting their own pie?
You mentioned it as far as having wellness and being fit. We think of so much about physical hard things, but it really starts mentally of deciding to make that choice to show up and to go to the gym. And a big selling point of Burn, the reason people join and keep coming is the community and the accountability. And you've really tapped into that. What do you say to somebody that is not fit presently and it's super intimidating? They might see the reels on Instagram and that would kill me. I could never keep up. I can't do that. They're just afraid to even approach that. It's really intimidating walking into a gym for the first time. So how do you encourage people to do that, overcome that fear?
One of the core things that Burn offers across the nation, not just in my building, is we meet you where you are. So it's something we really take a lot of pride in. If you walk in that first door, I would say, especially in my gym, upwards of 85% of our members have never worked out a day in their life. And it's
Wow.
like that one member I already referenced that says she's a gym girl now. She never even
Right.
had the desire to go to the gym every day. And Burn gives you that in the sense of you want to come because you miss it. When you don't have that day, you'll miss it. So just starting and giving yourself the opportunity to find what you love. And it's not going to look like the person next to you or the person behind you. I'm not going to work out the same degree as someone who's been here for 3 years. And I'm also not going to work out at the same degree of someone it's their first day. We meet all walks of life. And that is something that with us cultivating the environment of truly just encouragement and empowering each other, there's no judgment. There's just encouragement of you did that. And for everyone, the workout is hard. The person who's been at Burn for 10 years will leave that workout saying, oh my gosh, I almost threw up. And it's just their own heart. Everyone's heart is their own heart.
Absolutely. And I think we all are going to face hard circumstances in our lives. And we really do get to choose our hard and think about it every time you step into the gym. And the best workout is the one you'll do and commit to and find that community to keep you accountable. But as we get older, your muscles deteriorate. You get slower, you get less able to move around. And I think that the more resistance training you do, particularly after you get to around age 40, the more you can continue to stay mobile and functional. It's not just to get jacked or to look good in a bathing suit. It's so much deeper than that.
That's actually something we talk about so frequently. We have a member who is 62, and she tells me all the time, she will come up to me and say, I just want to shake all these 30-year-olds. They just don't understand how important it is. You have to start now. I'm playing catch up now. And we had someone recently who works in the health industry, and they said the reason they started coming in is they were working with these patients who were in their later stages of life. And they looked at them one day and said, had they been in the gym 30 years ago, they wouldn't need to be a patient right now. And it's so true because you don't realize how your body changes so quickly. I think as a mom, it gives me perspective that my body changed so quickly in 3 years by having children back to back. My body was able to work for me because I invested in it to know how to work for me. And then the recovery, it's the same thing of you're training it, that muscle memory to be able to recover for whatever life brings you. And you might not know. A lot of our biggest member testaments are, I can keep up with my kid and play soccer in the backyard. I can go on hikes. We're in Utah and everyone here loves to hike. And my kids enjoy it. And it's just healthy for my family.
We hopefully all want to live a nice long life. I'm planning to live to 120. Even if I can't control the number of years that I live, I do have a great impact on the quality of life that I have in my years. I heard somebody say, it sounds crude, but it's true. It's every day you show up to the gym is one less day in the nursing home. And I don't mean to be offensive to anybody. It's a testament to your member in her 60s. It's never too late. You start where you're at. And so she wishes she had started sooner, but clearly she's seeing results and she's showing up now, even though she started in her 60s.
Right.
At some point, you have to say, I want to be proactive and have true healthcare, not just sick care. Go to the doctor when you're sick.
Our generation wants results right now. They want instant results, and that's what's put in front of our faces. And what you just said about being a mindset shift is really what we try to cultivate in the gym of this is a lifestyle. This is not a 4-week program. One thing that's interesting to me is that we are called a boot camp. And when a lot of people think of a boot camp fitness style, they think, oh, I'm going to do the 6-week program and get my bikini bod. And they have this short-term goal. And so we work from day one to say, this is a lifestyle change. This is a mindset change. You walk in and you make this part of your daily routine. A lot of members, sometimes you'll hear them say, oh, I went out of town and I miss being sore. It's weird to not be sore. And it's things that you adapt your body to and your brain to. It's part of your routine every day. One thing we like to say too is we do hard things in here so you're prepared to do hard things out there. And that's twofold. Physical, so you can do the hard things, you can hike with your kids, but it's also mental. You're looking at that box and you're doing a box jump and you don't think you can do it. But it's a psychological thing. And then you take that out into the world and you don't think you can start your own business, but guess what? You can. And we hear that from members. We hear that I didn't think I could do this in my life. I'm a testament to it. I didn't know I could start a business, and Burn literally led me to that. And now it has led me to be successful in something that I didn't know I could be successful for. And that started for me in the gym.
That's inspiring. I think you have to create small wins for yourself and they build over time. Progress, not perfection. And it's not a matter of doing some big grand business. In addition to fitness influencers, there's a lot of people online, at least in my algorithm, that have online businesses and making millions of dollars. And I'm convinced most of them, if they make any money, it's just selling people on their program. At the end of the day, for me and my wife, Marianne, online business just it wasn't for us. Brick and mortar was the way to go, something that we could actually tangibly go into and believe in. And you're right. Like every time you go through a hard workout, you're like, that's the hardest thing you'll do all day. And it does build your confidence. If you want to build confidence, you just can't fake it till you make it. That's such a misnomer. No, you build confidence by proving yourself, pushing yourself against your limits. And incrementally over time, your limits keep expanding.
For sure. I have a reputation that it's hard to meet my own standards because as soon as I do, I raise them. And I think that is the culture that I have personally. But you look around the gym and you do that for yourself. If you get that box jump and then you're like, oh, what else can I do? And it's building that confidence, the confidence even to explore, the confidence to say, can I do something? I read a book, I think it was actually Mel Robbins who said it in one of her books a couple years ago about jealousy. And it really stuck with me. My whole life, I was told jealousy was bad. Green envy, the green monster, jealousy is terrible. And the perspective she gave it was jealousy is your brain telling you that's something you want. And, and where it becomes bad is if you're not happy for that other person. But you can be happy for that other person and still be jealous of them. And that is because you're recognizing they have something that you need to start working towards. So instead of getting on yourself about being jealous, take that opportunity and say, I want to be like that. I'm inspired to be like that. It's an inspiration and saying, no, what am I going to take my next step to get me to that? It's motivation. It shouldn't be a discouragement of, oh man, they have that and I don't. It's eye-opening to me now of, oh, now I know I want that. How can I get there?
Yes. And there can be some negative self-talk there, like you're never good enough or you don't feel you're good enough. So how do you combat that where maybe you don't make the box jump or the thing in the gym you set out to do and not feel like a failure? How do you leave with a positive experience when you don't meet your own standard?
For me, I think there's one thing we say a lot at Burn. This exercise is to work till failure. And we create a culture that is okay with failure. If you don't fail, it means you never tried. Everyone fails. Failure is part of your success. There are going to be things that I set high goals, knowing that at some point I'm going to have to accept failure because I'm human, because life happens. And I think that translates to every aspect of my life. There are things that you want to push till failure. You want to say, I gave everything I have until failure. And to me, that is success. And then when you do fail, it's all about how you react to it because it goes back to that confidence. So it's when you fail, you learn. And if you're not learning, it's because you're not accepting your failure. You can accept your failure and translate it into motivation and lessons learned of what to do differently next time. And it's just a matter of keep going and pressing on versus letting that failure stop you.
That's powerful. I think I avoided the gym for so many years because I am an Enneagram 3 and very driven, and I don't like sucking at things. And so you walk into most gyms and you see really strong or fit people and you're like, man, I can't keep up with that. I'm out. And so that's why I originally gravitated toward running, just because I didn't know how to lift a weight and was intimidated and didn't know where to start. That is a thing I love about Burn, because the trainers, we call it personal training in a group setting. So the trainers are intentional about working with people, especially new people. And you just start with body weight and then gradually you add weight that's appropriate for you. And nobody is looking down upon you for that. And it's very approachable, which is what I love, because everybody's on a journey and life is hard. And so you have to continue to be intentional about working on your health and fitness, which is why it's surprising to me that it's still fewer than 15% of the population actually go to any type of gym. And so I'm like, if this were a pill, if this were a drug, it would be the best selling in the world. It'd be trillions of dollars. And all it takes is taking that step. Part of my journey of getting fit really started with being an entrepreneur and thinking like, man, it's around the time of COVID and it's okay, the world's falling apart and nobody's coming to save us. We better take some initiative here and start going to the gym and start looking at my diet and exercise. It has made all the difference. And truly, it's counterintuitive that you go and work really hard in the gym, use up a lot of energy, and you get more energy when you leave.
If you would have gone back 10 years ago and asked me when I got back into my career field, what would it look like? I would have never said a gym owner. It was truly looking around that room and seeing this is fulfilling the needs in so many areas that people have and these gaps that people may or may not even recognize in themselves. And to be able to facilitate that is what is rewarding to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can make money, but for me, I want to make a difference while I make a profit. If you can find a way to make money with your passion and it's actually helping people, man, lean into that. And so I would ask you, Bethany, what would you say to somebody if they're looking to become an entrepreneur or really grow in their journey? Because this is not your first business. What would be a next simple step?
I would say just going back to that discovery. Right now, I am, for myself, my own intentional goals of declaring myself. We talk a lot about finding yourself, discovering yourself, and looking around. And right now, I'm in this phase of my life of I'm declaring myself. I'm not waiting for me to tell me who I am. I'm telling me who I am. You can do that in all areas of your life. But if you wanted to start a business, if you're getting to entrepreneurial, start there and declare what you're going to do. Say it out loud. Say, I'm going to do this. Then dedicate yourself to do it. I'm very proud of where I am. I went from we've moved 7 times in 8 years, and to being a stay-at-home mom, to starting 2 businesses that put us in a place of, one, my own independence and self-satisfaction of proving to me of what you can do to be able to grow to the margins that I have grown in 2.5 years. Once I make up my mind, I don't look back. There's not did I make the right decision? It was, no, this was my mind, and I just keep pushing through. I didn't even understand what profitability was going to look like, or should look like, I should say. I'm not going into this, like you said, to make money, to be a millionaire, but if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to do it in a way of that it's sustainable to keep my doors open, to keep changing lives. If it's not profitable, then I can't do that. And so finding your own strengths of not being afraid of failure and saying, you do obviously have to be smart about it and not get yourself in a position that you can't climb out of, but being able to say, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm willing to learn. I love education in the sense of knowledge makes me feel secure. The more knowledge I have makes me feel that I can make the best decision with the information I have at the time. So I try to get as much information as possible. I talk to as many other owners as possible. I put myself out there, and having that swallowing your pride moment and saying, if I don't know, I'm going to find someone who does, or a path to find out how, is where the true grit comes in, I believe. No one's going to give you a textbook. My burn does not look like your burn. My demographics don't look like your demographics. So someone can give us the exact same instructions, but it's not going to work the same for both of us. So you do have to play to those strengths and figure out what that looked like for you with the talents and skill set you either already have or are willing to find and discover for yourself. And once you do that and really just put it to the pavement, you can do it.
That's powerful. There's a lot of great advice there. I think one thing is, do ask lots of questions. If you're thinking about buying a franchise, for example, there's some pros and cons to everything, but that was key for us to talk to other franchise partners. What has been your experience? What are the pros? What are the cons? People actually doing the thing you want to do. That's a great tip. And also lean into something you're actually good at and try it in a small scale before you do bet the farm, right? Can you do a side hustle, as you were mentioned, selling t-shirts and really learning how to run a business? And that's a great way to do that. Well, for those unfamiliar that haven't been to a burn, we definitely would invite you to check it out. We end every burn workout with a particular thing. So how about we end this podcast in that form? Bethany, thank you so much for being here on the Next Simple Step podcast today. Lead us out with the signature burn sign off.
At Burn, we always end with 2 claps on 2. Ready? 1, 2.
There you go. Thanks, Bethany.